Okay, okay, we're live. So let's get started with today's meeting. I'm going to talk to you about webinars, and I specifically want to focus on using a webinar as a lead magnet. Look, there are an ever evolving set of ways to conduct a webinar. There is no particular way that transcends all situations. So a lot of times you're going to need to split test. You're going to need to try something. I want to, at this point, bring up a concept that's really important, and that is in a few weeks here, you're going to launch something. And if you've done everything right, when you launch that and you send traffic, that would be my definition of launching, is sending some traffic to it, it is going to give you some data. It's not going to perform in the optimal way that you have imagined. That's very rare. I'm not saying it never happens, but it rarely happens. And if you do happen to perform in the neighborhood of what you had imagined to be your optimal performance, you've got a great start on something that you should definitely take steps to improve upon. So I want to tell you that because you're going to need to do some work at this point. You understand your customer avatar to a large degree, but you haven't tried to sell them anything. And that's a different animal entirely. You're going to learn what they're interested in, what they're willing to buy. Now, anecdotally, I'm working on a project right now regarding autism. And we have a book, we have audio programs, we have some support programs, okay, webinar course-based programs helping parents in the with the various scenarios of autism. So that's the structure generally. And what I'm working on right now isn't generating leads, but it's selling those leads. So I've come up to a point where I can generate leads very inexpensively. In fact, I've stopped generating leads because I don't know what to do with them yet. Okay. The way they're processing isn't resulting in sales. There's a challenge there because just the nature of how I'm getting the lead um, makes it important that I test a number of things. So let me explain that uh, to you. And that it does not have to do with webinars. And perhaps it would be a better anecdote for the free plus shipping uh, meeting we'll have in the future. But I need to illustrate the concept with something fresh in my mind. And and the concept holds true no matter what your form of lead magnet is. Okay. So in this instance, with this free plus shipping, my challenge is people are responding very positively on the front end of it. And let me describe the structure. I have a page that essentially says, let me share it here with you. Okay, let's take you through this process. Because you're going to see the rest of this webinar, by the way, um, this meeting on webinars is we're going to be we are going to recap something that we've already talked about earlier. I'm giving you specific directions. Earlier I gave you general directions. This was in an earlier meeting where we talked about webinars. So in that meeting I spoke about a number of different types of webinars. In this meeting we're focusing on one type. For better or for worse, it may turn out that your offer works better with the webinar type that we're not using as an example. So I may be directing you incorrectly per your specific offer. There's nothing I can do about that at this point, nor is there anything really you can do about it at this point. Um, Ultimately, at some point in time, you might develop a sense of what to do that will work. You're new, this is new to you, and I'm directing you one step away from what you're actually. I don't even know specifically what you are doing. I'm speaking to a group here, so I'm not speaking specifically to a single particular offer. I believe this approach is a safe approach with the webinar, but let me explain now um, what's going on with my free plus shipping. Okay, so let's bring that up. Take me a moment here. And I need to screen share to that as soon as it pops up. My connection's going to be slow because obviously I'm streaming live here. Is this is not the one I want. I have a variety of tests running, and I missed it. Sorry. I'm sparing you the pain of sitting through that. There we go. Okay, so now let's share that. And that's an interesting screen. Got a backwards image there. So let's see. I can share it. My goodness. This way. Okay, that's not showing what that is. It's blinking on and off. So let's not do it that way. By the way, you got a sneak peek there at something we're talking about next week, I believe. It's unintentional, but that's kind of neat foreshadowing. Let's try it one more time that way, and then, yeah, it's just not wanting to do that. One more time. I see Google has changed present to everyone. No, it didn't do any good. Boy, that is a tease, isn't it? Here we go. There's another option for me. We'll try sharing it this way. There we go. I like that. Some consistency. So this is my free plus shipping offer, which depending on the path you're on, you have your own free plus shipping. I'm at least at this point in time directing everybody that as a client of mine to attempt a free plus shipping. You have to check that to see how it works in your particular market, because you could hit a home run. This is hitting a home run for me in a weird way. Well, it's in a normal way, guys. This is what you need to understand. There is no, like, there is no such thing as a guru, right? I hope we all understand that at this point. In fact, what I should be doing along the line, and I'm going to do this next week, is recommend some other people's products to you. Products that I've learned from, friends of mine's products that I think are phenomenal. I'll do that at appropriate times along the way. I skipped a couple of appropriate times along the way this time because I didn't want to overwhelm you or make you feel like you had to purchase these very expensive programs. These programs tend to be, because they're exceptional. I buy a lot of programs. I enroll in a lot of things. I spend a lot of money on my education. The only things I'll share with you are things that I consider of ultimately important to you to utilize right now. So that's what I would share. Now, I didn't do this earlier because I didn't want you to get the impression that you had to buy other people's products in order to make this work for you. I'm giving you enough information to do that, but I think it's also a disservice not to tell you, listen, if you really want to educate yourself to the point where you have a real solid structure within you to work from, I want to give you those resources. So free plus shipping, this is going very, very well for me in one way. All of these offers end up, I don't know where to start. No one's on.